I found a list of names hidden in my walls. It was a constant, gritty film over everything. Claire, consumed by the demolition, found a strange solace in the destruction. It was during one of these bouts of focused violence that a single, brittle page fluttered from the gutted wall. It was a list, the paper the color of old bone, the ink a faint, spidery scrawl, names, dates. Each entry marked the arrival of someone into the house. Eleanor Shaw, 1898. Arthur Finch, 1921. A dozen others. Each name was violently crossed out with a single slashing line. All but the last one. Heron Claire Evans. The date she and Mark had gotten the keys. A cold knot tightened in her stomach. The handwriting was identical throughout. A single author spanning decades. A patient chronicler of tenancy. Her rational mind scrambled for an explanation. A prank. A bizarre historical record. But the dread was visceral. Instinctive. Her search became frantic, her fingers clawing at the exposed insulation and ancient wood. In a small crevice, she found a tiny, felt-wrapped bundle. Inside was a lock of blonde hair, tied with a faded ribbon. Not her color. Later, behind a baseboard, a single tiny baby tooth nestled in the dust. She showed Mark the list. He saw a curiosity, a weird old paper. He dismissed the hair and tooth as forgotten relics, the morbid sentimentality of a previous era. He grew frustrated with her obsession, with the way she stared at the walls, her paranoia a thicker barrier than the plaster they'd torn down. During an argument about it, his gesture of frustration was too wide, his elbow punching through a section of hallway wall they hadn't yet touched. The hole was dark. Claire approached, not him. She peeled back the broken lath, her breath catching. The cavity wasn't filled with insulation. It was packed with papers, dozens of them, hundreds. She pulled one out, then another, and another. Each was a list, on the same brittle paper, in the same spidery hand. Each list contained names and move-in dates. Every name was crossed out except the last one on each page. And tucked beside the lists were more small, terrible treasures. A thimble, a pair of spectacles with one cracked lens, a wedding band, a single pearl earring. A museum of vanished lives. The lists were a timeline of occupancy, a century of residents who had arrived and then, according to the slashing mark of the pen, ceased to be. The last name on the newest list, the one she had found, was still uncrossed. Heron. The silence of the house was no longer empty. It was watchful. The cycle was revealed, not broken, and it was her turn.